Do you know that we owe Ukrainians reparations for building and defending this nation? Oh, my bad. I meant to say Black Americans. Notice how there was not one study, not one hearing needed before sending billions of dollars to Ukrainians nor any other group. Yet, when the topic of reparations for the descendants of American slaves is mentioned, we get told a motley of excuses. And I know some of you want to blame the Republicans, but it is for the Democrats that Black Americans vote 85 to 95%. And the Democrats have been complicit in their neglect of Black Americans as well. Maybe it's time we elect politicians that are actually going to fight for us. Maybe it's time we do something different, something better. Join me in getting us not just better, but the best. Join me in this fight. Thank you.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us.
All right, all right, all right. Welcome back once again to the Beatzilla PDX official show. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially, and this is the midweek report. And what we're talking about today is Democratic disarray from coast to coast. And it is very easy to see with some of the situations that are going on around these political circles. Now, mind you, there's also, not just Democrats, but black bootlick politicians on both sides of the aisles are kind of catching a wake up call, if you will. We even have a Republican that has been ordered to pay back her, I guess she filed a lawsuit to fight, the election, and now they're making her pay that money back. I haven't heard anybody else have to do that, but yep, got her. So, but before I go on, let's see who we have in the chat. All right, we got Lawrence Lilly in the house. Welcome, my brother. Judah Queen in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Black First family. Please like and share this broadcast, please. And thank you. Yes, indeed. Going away. We'll be back in the chat soon. Okay, got you. Reginald Jeter in the house. Welcome, welcome. Ms. D at Suite 201 in the house. Welcome. Sidonian Snow in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 25 Kid from New York. All right, Black First, brother. Oh, Yalux Cadence in the house. Welcome, welcome. We are now officially international. Maxwell Jenkins in the house. What's going on, brother? We got my good brother, Black Star TV 2.0 in the house. What is going on, my brother? Got our sister Rain Love in the house. Yes, indeed. And we got our good moderator in the house, Sister Tia to you. Welcome, 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 my sister. Yes, indeed. Health and Light Beatzilla PDX and Ken Folks. Yes, indeed. Thank you. All right. So, like I said, there are a few things going on. So where do I start? Oh, I know where I want to start. So as it turns out, they have they've charged Daniel Penny. For those who don't know, so they finally charged him. The odd thing about it, though, is they're not mentioning what he's charged with, but a grand jury has indicted him on criminal charges. And yeah, I guess we'll just talk about that first. So there's a couple articles. Let's see. Where do I want to, or interviews rather? I'll start here. And not to mention also, now, another odd thing about this whole Daniel Penny situation, Subway Bronson, another thing about him is the fact that, he's doing a whole lot of talking before he goes to trial. Or, I guess he was doing talking in thinking that he was going to get around it. But no, it doesn't look like he is. So hopefully the charges are what they should be, but we shall see. And we have our sister Rhonda Smith in the house. Welcome, welcome, sister. Welcome, welcome. All right. So this is the first little thing I want to take a look at when it comes down to these charges.
Tell us about what the grand jury has done today in Manhattan.
So in Manhattan, the grand jury will review the information that the prosecution presents.
You know what? I don't like how it's so laggy. Hold on. Hold on. I'll just do it this way. Bear with me 1 second, family. I'll just have to do it this way. All right. Just 1 second. So, yeah, grand jury indicted Daniel Penny for the unaliving of Jordan Neely in the New York subway. And there's they sent out this real odd bootleg to, and we're gonna get to that pretty soon. But first off, let's just to set up this story, let's give it some background.
And what can you tell us about what the grand jury has done today in Manhattan?
So in Manhattan, a grand jury will review the information that the prosecution presents. It's typically 16 to 23 people in the grand jury, and they could come back with the exact same charges that were put before them, manslaughter in the second degree, or they could come back with higher or even lower charges. So the charges not being released quite yet is a big question mark, but a probably even bigger question mark is, did Daniel Penny testify in the grand jury? And if so, what did he say?
All right, so he was already charged with second-degree manslaughter. Is the grand jury an endorsement of that? Can they go higher? Can they go lower? How does that work?
Yeah, so manslaughter in the second degree in New York is what's called a Class C felony. You can do up to 15 years in jail. What it basically says in manslaughter in the second degree is you were reckless and you caused someone's death. You should have seen the signs or dangers and you ignored them. But if the grand jury, for example, believes that Daniel Penny intended to cause serious physical injury, like through a chokehold, and that person died, it can get elevated to manslaughter in the first degree, which is called a Class B felony. That bumps up his potential jail time. Or if they believe that he was trying to kill Jordan Neely, it could get upgraded to murder in the second degree. It's really what they believed his intentions were, what his thoughts were, and the actual outcome of death could apply to different types of manslaughter or even very low-level murder.
So it'll be interesting to see just exactly how this plays out on that end. Because truth be told, what do y'all think? Do you think they're gonna upcharge it? I mean, do you really think they're gonna upcharge it? Which they should. Which they most definitely should. That part's true. Like, they most definitely should upcharge it. That's without question. However, I don't know. I guess, the verdict's still out on that, so we'll see. We'll see. But, I don't hold my breath in anticipation that they're going to, get it up to murder. I just don't see that. I could be wrong, though. So, don't let me be the discouragement. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I'll just go out on a limb and, yeah, there's that. Now that we understand he's been charged, they have to roll out the Sambos and the bootlicks to come out here and run interference like, oh, well, no, like, because again, things like this, when you see things like this, and remember the supremacists all on the internet was going crazy, and they still are trying to support the idea of Daniel Penny, and he came out and made a statement, and I'm gonna play that as well. But first, I want to just show you what the mainstream and the dominant society will always tend to do around these type of issues. because they rolling this one out, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, this cat couldn't wait. He couldn't wait to get out there and earn them biscuits. Check this out.
I tell everybody, tactical patience, at least 48 to 72 hours before you have all the facts. After we even got word, AOC and Ayanna Pressley were on the media blitz calling this a modern day lynching, and the media was all too happy to just disseminate those lines and those narratives. And it's just, what do you want? You want more instances of what they can mark as white vigilantism, which we really know at this point can marginally be called self-defense, if not, proactive, maybe like proactive defense, because everybody on that train was probably in fear for their life, that subway. And you can tell by the 911 calls, it was 6 minutes from the first call to the responded EMT. Two of the calls highlighted that they believed he had a weapon.
Negro, did you really just do that? Wow. Wow. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, brother. I mean, and I use the term loosely. I mean, are you serious, brother? Like, wow. Now he's arguing proactive self-defense. See, people like this don't understand using that type of talk and that type of language will most likely end up turning on them. And then it plays out, and then you got their family coming out here. Hey, well, we should all just put the past behind us and let's all try to move forward. No. No, we're going to have to keep some of that same energy. Got our brother Knight Rider in the building. Salute. Maxwell said, I believe they're going to upcharge him. They didn't need a grand jury for the original charge. Great point. Patricia Slade in the building. Jersey City is in the building. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, that's a great point. For the whole grand jury thing. Now, this is what I want to know. I mean, because most grand juries, when you black, you don't know if you got they over there having a whole grand jury without you knowing. They just show up with a charge. Now, with this, they're talking about, well, we don't know if he got a chance if he testified at the grand jury. It's like the defendant would testify at the grand jury. Like, here's another thing. They still not trying to call him a defendant. He's a defendant. All this self-defense rambling that you're doing, he's a defendant. And the state is charging him. He's got a federal charge out of New York, and now he got a new charge coming up out of there. So, yeah, if he was already charged, what was he charged with? Second-degree manslaughter? So they said that was the charge presented to him. Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a possibility that they might be upcharging it. And again, this might be one of those political things, ride the wave right on into the ballot box in 2024. So, we probably will see it now that you got me thinking that probably will go that way. One Who Cares is in the building. Good evening. Welcome, my sister. Knight Rider, what'd you say? His actions were malicious and egregious as he maintained that hold even after he was told to break it. Yeah, at any rate, I believe I believe he'll be undercharged. Okay. Yeah. And again, family, remember, please like and share. And if you have not already subscribed to this channel, you could do so right now by hitting the subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell and hit the word all. That way you'll be notified, at least you should be, every time this channel goes live or a video is uploaded. And so let's get back to this, Sambo.
Yet the media will never tell you that because, again, they want people to be doing what they're doing right there on subways, getting on subway trains, getting in the face of police officers. They love that.
As a trained fighter, when you saw the chokehold, how did you see that?
When I saw it, number one, Neely looked like he was struggling the whole way. And so, part of that is that it's called sinking a hold or submission in. I don't know that it was ever like fully sunk in. And something that you said about the toxicology report, but I think that's really important, but we're not getting that.
What?
It kind of reminds me of the manifesto of the Nashville shootings. We're just not getting that information. And so it's like one of those situations, that's an important component to understand what happened. But then we also have, important independent journalism and reporting, thanks to Twitter, that pretty much showed that even after this incident, they, Penny, he had him in a recovery position on the side, and the people on a train car were trying to reassure Penny, and he looked
after 15
devastated.
minutes.
Yeah, that's not what murderers do.
Wow, look at this. Listen to
they
this
don't try
dude.
to help the guy up and clear his airways after that. All right, Malcolm, thanks very much. Everybody go check out his Substack.
Egregious cooning. That was some egregious cooning. Ren 11B Airborne. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, wow. Well, Mr. Malcolm Flex, you get one of these. Sambo. Wow. Shameful. Just shameful as all get out. Dang, dude. That is shameful, man. Okay, so yeah, funny, something he said too. When they talking about people are scared and whatnot, does that mean that, proactive self-defense, that Black people should probably start being proactive when they see somebody out of their neighborhood, in their neighborhood? Should now people start being proactively? What did he say? Proactive self-defense? Wow, is that what we're advocating for? What I wonder, just what clearly does that look like? What does proactive self-defense look like? How would you describe that? What would proactive self-defense be? Kind of odd, huh? Malcolm Flex. The hell is that guy? Oh, man. Oh, Judah Queen. Scared the cat. Oh, man. Oh, he's also some kind of music artist? I wonder. And that's the dude. Oh, will you do MMA? Does he really? Here's another thing. They're talking about how scared he was. He's scared. He was scared. And oh, he's so scared. And people on the train were so scared. But he's a hero, and he's in the Marines. He's a tough guy, and he's really. I mean, what is he? Is he scared, or is he a tough Marine who's decorated and he's a great soldier? I mean, which is it? He can't be both, and which they're pretty much trying to have both. Like, no. So anyway, this dude got a chance. This dirtbag, he had a chance to give his side of the story, I guess, as you would say it, because, Jordan Neely, of course, cannot do that because this scumbag took his life. So here is this scumbag showing you what the devil does.
Multiple times a day. In this instance, I was coming from school.
Actually, hold on. Wait, I'm going to put that down. Here, hold on. Because I'm going to just let it roll. So y'all can hear for yourselves, like I said, from this scumbag. And just listen, I'm going to let it play, and then we'll pick apart what he said. Because, this dude is a grade A classic study. And it's a study of something that actually I'm noticing a pattern of. So, there's a lot of stuff that's been happening lately with random people. Like, if y'all have been noticing, there, like a lot of these videos that are happening, it ain't police, it's random people. Now, I've been saying it for a minute here that, I'm seeing a pattern of planned ambushes. But nonetheless, let's hear from this guy.
East Village in Manhattan. So I take the subway multiple times a day. In this instance, I was coming from school. I got out of class around 2:15, and I took I was at J Street Metro Tech, took the Uptown F train. At 2nd Avenue, a man came on, stumbled on. He appeared to be on drugs. The doors closed, and he ripped his jacket off and threw it at the people sitting down to my left. I was listening to music at the time, and he was yelling, so I took my headphones out to hear what he was yelling. And the three main threats that he repeated over and over
in New York
was,
on the subway, they do that.
I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die. This was a scary situation. And
why is he the only one that said that?
He was threatening. I'm 6'2", and he was taller than me. So it was, and there's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We're actually taught one of our core values is courage, and courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear. And I was scared for myself, but I looked around, I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. Some people say that I was holding on to Mr. Neely for 15 minutes. This is not true. I mean, between stops is only a couple minutes. So the whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes. Some people say I was trying to choke him to death.
No,
which is also not true. I was trying to restrain
You didn't
him.
let him off you didn't stop
You
at the
can see in the video there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he's breathing. Trying to restrain him from him being able to carry out the threats. And then some people say that this was about race, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers. A lot of whom were people of color. A man who helped restrain Mr. Neely was a person of color. And then a few days after the incident, I read in the papers that a woman of color came out and called me a hero. I don't believe that I'm a hero, but she was one of those people that I was trying to protect.
No, you killed a man.
We were all scared. Mr. Neely was yelling in these passengers' faces, and they looked terrified. The reason why there was no video at the start of the altercation was because people were too afraid getting away from him, and the videos didn't start until they saw the
subway
situation was under
car.
control.
You can go to the next train.
I knew I had to act, and I acted in a way that would protect the other passengers, protect myself, and protect Mr. Neely. I used this hole to restrain him And I did this by
no, you killed
leaving my hand on top of his head to control his body. You could see in the video there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he was still breathing. And I'm calibrating my grip based on the force
until you
that
took
he's
his breath.
exerting. And I was trying to keep him on the ground until the police came. I was praying that the police would come and take this situation over. I didn't want to be put in that situation.
Oh, I bet.
I couldn't just sit still and let him carry out these threats.
A Michael Jackson impersonator. He's not an LL Cool J impersonator. He's a Michael Jackson impersonator. He's still trying to, you hear how he was trying to still talk Jordan Neely up to be some big brawny dude? No, we all see what that dude looked like. There's no big and brawn nowhere. He's getting choked to death by you. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. No wonder your ass got indicted. And whoever his attorney is that keeps letting him talk is amazing. You're not helping your case. I think that he thinks he might get the Kyle Rittenhouse treatment, but no, not on this one, man. And, they act like we can't get scared, but, we have courage, and courage is like, well, Jordan Neely was scaring you that much. A person having a mental crisis. We keep neglecting that part. They keep talking about, well, man, you're a hero for choking a man to death who was in the middle of a mental health issue. The hell are we talking about here? Criminality is not even part of it. He was one of the most dangerous. Miss me. No, this is vigilanteism. And then you send, now they got the little black dude up there talking, man, act like it's going to be some bitches. No. We know what we're seeing. And it's not like this is new. What, man, it just kinds of talk about like, he did every talking point he could without saying race baiter. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to use every kind of word he could to get around saying race baiter. Well, I mean, because it'll give this idea that there's white vigilanteism. There is. Who's doing this mass shooting stuff? Yeah, there's a whole lot of that. And funny how that never gets addressed. It's not our kids. However, when they want to talk about guns, it's our children or the first they bring up. And we got a problem in our community. Yeah. Y'all still living. But I mean, let's just keep it a buck. Boy, we need the Joshua generation the Joshua generation is waiting out the clock for the old Moses folks to go. That's one of the most brilliant stories too, because it puts it in perspective. You can't take old tainted mind states into a new thing. And how many of these folks are tied to this society? Dark-skinned brother, what's going on? We got Shawana S in the house. She said courage. He meant cowardice. Facts. Man. Maxwell says he's a horrible liar. TDU said, how many others have you restrained? Anyone else this way? Man, for real. Like, what the hell is he talking about where they were scared? What? I seen how they were scared. What the hell does being scared? People go to movies and get scared. People go to amusement parks and go ride a roller coaster and get scared. What the hell are you talking about? You gonna go choke out Mickey? You gonna jump on Donald Duck? I mean, what the hell was he talking about? And then just think that you actually get a chance to see and hear him for yourself. Remember the first article that he gave to, what is it, New York Times, or the little interview he did? So we didn't hear any audio or video from that, but we got a chance to read what he said. You know, he was going to take a road trip to Africa. So he possibly couldn't be racist. Then he says, the Afro-Latino dude that helped him unalive our brother, he said, well, yeah, he's a person of color. Wow. Now, see, when people pay so much attention to what's going on in black spaces, don't let them get out there and start running that game on you. Like they don't know that Afro-Latinos don't rock with black folks like that because they're an Afro-Latino. But on that paper, like Jocelyn Hernandez, it just says white. So no, you know, we're not finna do that. He was, man, you know, he's a person of color. I'm sure his paperwork got a W on it too. In the Mix Radio, what is going on? St. Louis in the house. Yeah, they'll try to run that game on you, though. Don't get it twisted. They will try to run that game. So, let's see, where do I want to go next? Boy, there's some interesting stories. Back to my point about Democratic disarray. Oh, no, first, before I go further, here's another thing. This type of thing is happening quite often. And yeah, because this next little clip, like I said, I keep seeing certain patterns ever since, what's that lady name? Amy Cooper, who just recently lost her lawsuit for talking about wrongfully terminated. No, they rightfully terminated you because you were bad for business. Regardless of how the courts bailed you out. And that Alvin Bragg dude went ahead and gave you a slap on the wrist when you should have been going to prison for what you did. They made a whole law about what you did just to let you off. Amy Cooper. But it, you know, it makes sense because then Christian Cooper gets a deal with Disney. See how that one works. Doing National Geographic. I open up Disney Plus, and what you see Christian Cooper looking back at me. Man, please. Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed. Tia, do you? Let me see. Support these self-defense schools for our young ones. Support Tyrone Muhammad. Absolutely support our brother out there in Chicago doing great things, great works. And you see that brother when Sister Natural Charm was out there at that, what was that, Sitco or whatever that gas station is, and they went down there and had to go regulate and set some folks right. And I mean, that was a pleasure to see. You know, so every time I see them brothers out there, man, that's, you know, they always solid. Now, also watching them, and I'm sure they hate seeing them coming because they've been saying what they saying, and what now you have a lot of the people in their area coming and stepping up, being vocal along with them. Yeah, that's that little ruckus. And I don't think that sound is going to go away anytime soon. So, keep an eye on that whole deal going out there in Chicago because, you already know these folks ain't going away. So, yeah, man, I can only expect that you are going to just keep hearing more and more and more and more from brother Tyrone Muhammad and all the other brothers around and sisters around that brother and in that part of the movement, which is great. You understand? What in the Mix Radio said is Biden and Obama gave it because them folks push hard for the gay stuff. Well, as far as Barack Obama goes, I think some things should be kind of obvious. Now, as far as Joe Biden, who knows? But yeah, as far as Barack Obama, like I said, some things should just be obvious. But like I said, this other little clip here is this type of thing is happening way too much. Check it out.
Let's get a video.
Take a picture of you too.
Dude, we got my first Karen.
Picture of you too.
Literally walked into my house.
I know I'm walking to your house.
It's amazing.
I know it is amazing. And we're gonna report you. I'm now gonna report this to the owner because this is too much. You guys do this all the time.
Feel free.
So if you don't want people to come in, don't write entrance.
Why do you hate
We're
music
top
so much?
third floor. Because you guys have been doing this all the time.
Hey, you could have just knocked on the door, rang the doorbell. We would have turned it on.
Oh no. We did. You guys didn't hear it.
And that was the direction you chose to take this. Thank you.
It is
Have a
the
great
direction
night.
you chose to take it.
What's your name? Which house is yours, Miss Trespasser? Maybe I should follow her to her house. Let's see which lady this is. BMW. Ooh! She's got a Beamer. We can get the plates. Let's see. Got him.
Yeah, but see here, and she's in a car. Ain't nothing about that right. Ain't nothing about that right. Wow. Boy, the nerve of that lady. Ain't no boundaries, heaven. Lord. This guy isn't too nice. I'm saying way too nice. Way too nice. But nonetheless, Lord. And let's see. So, like I said, Democratic. Democratic disarray. Let's go to LA. Let's go to LA. Let's get this video. So, for those who don't know, and see, here's some I'm just noticing. Now, remember, they had that whole big debacle with Nuri Martinez and the other dude who refused to resign. She resigned, but for those who remember, the racist council and with that were having that illegal meeting about redistricting, and now they have indicted a city council member that's not one of them. But after a thorough investigation, they have found embezzlement upon, and I guess they charged this man with embezzlement. I'm not sure exactly the dollar amount, but he's a sitting councilman. He did announce his resignation, I believe, today, because this is this story happened. That's I've just seen this come across my feed today. And I'm like, dang, they keep cooking all of these black politicians. Are y'all noticing that? Like they getting in, put in these positions just to get roasted, which I keep telling you, everybody that Biden has appointed, they're all put in a position to where if things go bad in that area, it's all on them. And so you have a black face as a major problem. Yeah. So there's something to consider. But nonetheless, this current Price, city councilman out of LA, so they had enough time to focus on the black ones. I mean, because if he's this corrupt, what about the ones who are actually having the illegal meeting against the black community? What about them? But nonetheless, what do I know?
Broken-hearted about the news that we all learned yesterday. I'm saddened and concerned about the impact that news may have on this institution. I'm saddened and concerned about the impact that this news may have on the people of the 9th District. And I'm also saddened and concerned about the impact that I know that this will have on my friend and colleague, Price.
Thank you. Can you hear me now? Okay. Like I said, well, now that my mic is back on, the dude that you just heard, who was basically, I feel sorry for my colleague and all of this. Not everybody felt that way, and there are some people that obviously felt a different way, like this here. So this also happened, I believe, on the floor today at the city council.
And this is the name that you signed up under and the items you would like to speak on.
Morning, Fable, and morning, baby Fable. I'd like to speak on general public comment.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
Another one bites the dust. For the second time in less than a year, a scandal has dethroned a member of council leadership, and you were warned you shouldn't be stunned. Back in 2017, Daniel Gus reported on the bigamy. Back a year after that, Emily Albert Reyes on the failure to recuse. Beyond that, current Price stared down the raid on Weezar, DWP, and the indictment of Englander and continued the racket. I routinely pointed out at these meetings, going back to 2020 when the FPPC clarified their guidance, that he was continuing to ignore their requirements for proper recusal. You all watched silently, even after MRT was indicted, even after Nuri resigned in disgrace. And Mr. Fable, how many times did I bring this up? You know I'm not wrong. You had those conversations with him. And wherever you are, Kevin De Leon, you're next. I've got a laundry list of similar votes with you. One of them even includes a motion. So resign now while you still...
Wow. He was giving him that work now, wasn't he? Now, that's kind of interesting. They've been having some scandals. So I mean, if he's still talking about he gonna get at DeLeon, okay, let's see. Let's make it so. Because DeLeon need to be out there too. So let's get DeLeon out the paint. For real. But I'm glad. I'm glad he went there with it. So good. And you are seeing people who are a problem. Not to mention the dude who they're talking about, this Price dude, don't get shook by his face. Yeah, he's a black dude. But truth be told, how Nuri Martinez said, he's with the blacks. He's over there with the Mexicans. Shoot, he be rocking with them tough. I've seen some things for him. He's showing them way more love. Giving awards and whatnot. Okay. Cynthia Newman in the building. Welcome, sister. Project Leroy in the house. I see you. And we got our brother Kid Gravity in the house. She said I was cussing. Nah. Yeah, I was beeping myself. We have Shavonda Lewis in the house. Reside in LA. Heard his name, but doesn't represent the district I reside in. Okay. Yeah. No wonder he must represent East LA. Maybe that would explain a lot. That would explain a whole lot. All right, so let me see where we're going next. So that is the trouble in LA. Let me see. Oh, I think this is also part of this. So let me play this real quick. Get it in here. Bear with me 1 second. All right, here we go. And this is real quick. Damn. Hopefully this is. Now maybe that's all it needs. So let me see. It's a 14-second clip.
It's hard to imagine how they can be complaining on the one hand about the fact that a governor in another state is sending migrants, and at the same time doubling down on the idea that anybody who shows up in Los Angeles is going to be protected.
Okay, I know what that was. And for some reason, I don't know why that clip cut off. Anyway, so what that do, so basically, and my research behind this Price dude, he's one of the main pushers for making LA sanctuary cities and all of this. So what that dude was complaining about, he's talking about everybody's going to start sending their illegals there. We're going to start like how they send them all up to Washington and New York. And so, yeah, they're going to start doing that to them too. And so that's what he was afraid of. And I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I would not be surprised at all when you start seeing a bunch of buses pulling up to LA. I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked one bit. Now, with that being said, real quick, because this one here is interesting. I don't know how legit this is, but I've been seeing this Blacks for Trump thing. I'm not sure how legit this is, but it's just check this clip out, family. It's just kind of one of those. What am I seeing here?
Okay. Here you go. Hey, blacks for Trump.
Yeah, I don't know. What y'all think about that? More like bootlicks for Trump, man. I'm saying, like, wow. All right, to each his own. I don't know what made you go out there that early, be like, yeah, blacks for Trump. Man, you better be blacks for yourself. And whoever is talking your talk, then you go out there and get that. That right there is absolute buffoonery. But whatever. It's first time seeing that foot, man. Yeah, let me show you this. Let me show y'all again real quick.
Okay. Here you go. Hey, blacks for Trump.
Now, who did that? Who did that? That almost seems like somebody went to a soup kitchen and was like, y'all want to make $5? Here, you get this free t-shirt, and I'm going to just need y'all to start walking around here. We got shirts in all sizes. I'm just looking at who they got out there, like, them people actually voting. And I mean, you got one dude, it's like, this dude probably was sleeping in a tent. You know, I wait a minute. Did you just take a closer look at what you're seeing? It's like, this ain't no voter base. Y'all just put some shirts on these folks and said, okay, go around here. Blacks for Trump, blacks for Trump, blacks for Trump. What is this, 1972? The blacks. Wow. Wow. Homeless for Trump. Man, I mean, just, oh, that is so wrong. Just go get a whole bunch of homeless people. Put these shirts on. March around for about 5 minutes. Blacks for Trump. Blacks for Trump. Okay, we got enough footage. Good grief. Over there, feed them like Don Cornelius was feeding Soul Train dancers. They was getting their payment in a 3-piece. Straight 3-piece. Oh Lord. So now from there, let's take a real brief pause to examine another thing that you're going to have to be aware of that's on the horizon, family. Something I've seen trending today, which I don't know why it was trending, because majority of things attached to this hashtag are from like 2022. Nonetheless, Twitter had it in the algorithm, dim exit. And they're saying that, oh yeah, you know, could it really be that more Democrats will leave the Democratic Party to go follow Cornel West in his was it People's Party or whatever. And so now I think I spoke about this last week. It's going to be the mass exodus. And he's going to get all of this thing, all this cloud up. And then, he'll drop out of the race and be like, man, what you guys need to do is now you need to make sure that you use your, and he'll be using all them big fancy words. And you got to back Joe Biden. I mean, it's coming, family. Don't kid yourselves, family. I see my brother Torian Reigns in the building. What's going on, my brother? I thought you were about to go bowling. Yeah, man. Shoot, I do bowl. Well, it's been a while, but yeah. They done shut a lot of bowling alleys down here. Bowling here has turned like real super trendy. So it's like boutique bowling. It's you just can't find a good bowling alley. Old-fashioned bowling alley. But like I said, Cornel West, and then he's on this I guess this podcast with Anthony Fauci and this woman. And I guess he's doing his starting to make his rounds. And for as he talks about, his presidential bid. How he is talking about Anthony Fauci. Lord, listen to this, family.
It would have to be done in a pristine, perfect way. So I turned myself around and I became part of the activist group. And to me, that was one of the best things I've ever done.
Oh, indeed. Just building on Sister Tricia's point, though, it's just so wonderful to see somebody who is such a unique combination of the sharpness of a scientific mind and the goldenness of a decent heart. Because science tends to be associated too much with arrogance and condescension and a certain kind of elitism of a pejorative sort, of looking down on the unscientific. And those with a decency of heart can also be anti-scientific and be suspicious of any claims having to do with nature of reality that seem to be painful and problematic. And you're able to bring those together at this unprecedented moment in the history of the country, where the pervasive spiritual decay and moral decline and the greed and the avarice and the hatred and the contempt, all of that happening at the same time. And so I just hope and pray that you recognize just the crucial role that you are playing for so many of us. Because we are down and out. We're fighting too. We've got our hope on the tightrope, but sometimes a little bit more Shakespearean than John Francis Regis and Anthony Fauci. But we just want you to know that, really. Thank you. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, first off, Anthony Fauci, where did you get this whole, almost deifying this man? Like, where does that come from? Like, no, I don't believe all of us look like this. And he's always made money working for Big Pharma. Since when are we applauding that? Doesn't that seem just the slightest bit off? Hey, well, he came with the thing, and then everybody got the thing, and, people got that thing and toe up and stuff, but he's a good dude. Yeah, funny though, subsequently when you've had these upticks and outbreaks or uptick in infections, Now, well, imagine, lo and behold, who is somewhere in the vicinity? Anthony Fauci. Yeah. I mean, when trouble just on a grand scheme happens twice around the same dude, oh, he's such a good man. What the hell are you talking about? No, he's a problem. You can say what you want to him. Well, scientists, hey, if you want to talk to a scientist, why don't you find Dr. Kismikia? Where's she? Nobody want to talk to her? I mean, because she's so special. She came up and invented that thing. She woke up with a vision, and then she said, you know what? Let me confer with one of my judge friends. And then she called Ketanji Brown Jackson. You know, if you're having these publicists writing these outlandish, foolish lies, they go way back. Lord. That bad witch. I mean, but good grief. Anthony Fauci is full of it. Absolutely. And he's consistent. I mean, you know, consistent trash. Lord. So, going from that to back to the Democratic disarray. Oh, this guy. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I knew I had some more there. So check this out. So this is going back to LA because I'm gonna hit a couple real quick, so you can really get a handle on the corruption part. And then I'm even gonna play you again an update from the local corruption going on here in my own city. So you will get a chance to catch that as well. Lord. As soon as it loads up. But they're saying this current Price dude, he's the fourth member of the city council to be indicted. The hell is going on in LA, man? A whole lot of corruption popping off down there, ain't it? Jeez. Y'all got to get it together now. And be having all of this overboard corruption. The fourth? And while the people are like, the homeless situation down there is outrageous. Here they got a new band. I'm seeing them in being real happy about moving these camps. And this is like, there was a camp by the railroad tracks. It's like, well, they ain't bothering nobody. I mean, they're off in an industrial area. Like, so it's like looking at where they're like, what you go move them folks for? And the one thing about this particular homeless camp is every time you roll past, you see in a drum set, there would be people out there playing drums. They had a whole drum set at the homeless camp. I was like, they still got a drum set out there. They out there just playing. Like, it made me think of Fat Albert. Like, that's like real life Fat Albert came. I mean, are they in a junkyard? I mean, and the homeless camp pretty much look like a junkyard. You know, it's like right off the side of the road. Oh, Lord. Anyway, like I said, the Democratic disarray that's going on in all of these different political sectors, city councils, we have mayors, we got police commissioners resigning who may have some kind of issues with the mayor or not. We'll see. But check this out. So this is the news report on Curran Price's demise.
Tonight with breaking news, LA City Council member Curran Price just announcing moments ago that he's stepping down from his leadership role as the council's president pro tempore, as well as from all his committee assignments, just hours after he was charged by the district attorney's office with 10 felony charges of embezzlement, perjury, and conflict of interest. With more, we bring into the conversation John Rigardi of Los Angeles Magazine, who's written more about this than just about anybody. John, good to see you. Walk us through what's going on here. What's the case against Curran Price?
District Attorney George Gascon has charged Curran Price with 10 counts, as you referenced. They are related to his wife, Del Richardson, who is a political consultant. Essentially, they charge that Del Richardson received contributions from developers, payments from developers for services she rendered, and that Curran Price then voted to approve some of those projects. There are also allegations that that Curran Price received about $33,000 in medical benefits for his wife when he was actually married to another woman. And that's the very basic that we understand now is still developing.
Let me correct you, if you will. I think the benefits were for his mistress while he was married to another woman, which made it even more complicated. That woman is now his wife. So that's the personal drama, Marla.
Thank you.
John, we just heard from him, and he issued this statement saying that he will effectively step down, effective immediately, but he still gets paid, doesn't he? What's his role now? Does he still have a vote on the council?
As long as he keeps a role on the council, I think we're going to find out a lot of things in coming days. Previously, we did see that when council members were charged, they were suspended and then they were not able to vote. So I think we're going to find out from tomorrow what council member Paul Krikorian and the other members of the panel will do. But, if the past is similar, he is likely to continue receiving his salary, and we'll see about that vote. That's a great question.
And that's the key thing here, right? By staying on the council, even if he doesn't get to vote, he still gets paid. And there was a whole fight over that with Mark Ridley Thomas. Eventually, Curran Price helping to push this through, Mark Ridley Thomas got paid. So a lot of people are watching this, and they're going to think there have been 4 indictments on the LA City Council in 4 years. What is going on? We're looking at this list here. Mark Ridley Thomas, who was indicted for his work on the Board of Supervisors. Also, Jose Huizar, Mitchell Enlander. Those two ended up serving time behind bars. Ridley Thomas is likely to as well.
Of course, there was the racist tape that was leaked as well, with those remarks made earlier or last fall. Yeah, John, so what do you make of the scandal-plagued LA City Council?
It hampers trust in government, and it's very unfortunate. The city council members, who have not been caught up in these scandals, they recognize this. They have condemned it. The council has formed a ad hoc committee on governance reform. But as we know, most Angelenos don't pay a lot of attention to this. They just see the headlines, and one can understand how they will say, oh my gosh, who is not corrupt? This is a very dark time for the Los Angeles City Council and for trust in government. People at all levels are going to really need to double down even more so than they have, convince the public that they can be trusted, that there is transparency in the way this building operates.
Yeah, the only thing that got more attention than corruption charges was the racist tape that Marla talked about. Not a great look. John Rigardi, thank you so much for your reporting on this. We really appreciate it.
Not a great look, I'll say. Lord. Now, real quickly before I forget, there was something that happened in is this New York? No, okay, Philadelphia. So a Starbucks employee who claims she was fired for being white wins $25.6 million. How does that sit with you? It says a former regional director who claimed her company had wrongfully fired her for being white has now won $25.6 million in her lawsuit over the matter. Shannon Phillips had worked for the company for about 13 years before she was fired after two black men were arrested in a Philadelphia Starbucks in 2018. According to CNN, those two men, Dante Robinson and Rashad Nelson, reportedly reached their own settlements with Starbucks shortly after their arrests. Phillip had nothing to do with the arrest directly, but was fired anyway. Her lawsuit alleged Starbucks was attempting to punish white employees who had not been involved in the arrest, but who worked in and around the city of Philadelphia in an effort to convince the community that it had properly responded to the incident, according to the Associated Press. Laura Maticati, Maticati, or however her name is, reportedly told jurors in a New Jersey federal court that Starbucks was looking to make Phillips a sacrificial lamb. Why? Because, again, she said she had nothing to do with the incident. So why would you need to make her a sacrificial lamb? That doesn't really make much sense. After hearing arguments from both sides, the jurors returned with the verdict that Starbucks indeed violated its employees' rights and should pay Phillips $25 million for punitive damages and $600,000 in compensatory damages, according to Maddie whatever law firm, Console Law, whatever law. The jury ruled unanimously, according to CNN. The trial reportedly lasted 6 days. That's when she claimed she said her and her client were very pleased with the outcome. Oh, I bet. Maticati also reportedly added that Phillips will be seeking back pay, future pay, and attorney's fees from her former employer, which totals to about $3 million in lost pay and about $1 million in her fee application. A spokesperson for the Starbucks declined to comment, but let's see. Okay, now all of these others have also other sources have reached out, but Starbucks has not got back for comment. In April 2018, Dante Robinson and Rashawn Nelson were arrested in the Starbucks in Philadelphia after a manager phoned police saying two black men were refusing to leave the store and sitting at a table without purchasing anything, which was apparently claimed to be against the rules at that location. But we all know that was a lie, so we understand how that turned out. Now, notice how they just left that part out. It's like you probably should actually mention the fact that this happened to these brothers wrongfully. Just like they called the police here on the brother that had a room in the DoubleTree by Lloyd Center. They did the same thing to him. And then there was another incident at another Starbucks, because there's been a few incidents at Starbucks with them calling police on folks, right? And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in my city, there's been plenty of Starbucks to close. Plenty. So something to keep in mind. Man, they got that dude current price, boy. Now, what's with the bigamy? What's with the bigamy? This dude had two wives, huh? He was doing it like that. Wow. Doing it like that, doing too much. Lord. Good grief. Now, going to, like I said, coast to coast. Let's see, where is that at? This one. Okay, you know what? I won't even try it. I'll just put it here. Let me get this in here. Bear with me 1 second. So the mayor of New Orleans, there's been some breaking news on her. But to give you some kind of, she's been under investigation for a while, and people have, they've been at her at this woman's heels for a minute. Mayor Cantrell out of New Orleans, what they were doing, and I guess she has been, using that money, and again, all of these situations are coming down to the corruption around money, which also talks about trust and, talk about public trust. Well, at this time, can the Democrats really afford to start having trust scandals and then turn around to black folks and be like, well, they just did so much better now. I mean, come on now. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. So with that being said, we're going to take a trip to New Orleans.
Well, thank you. And after months of fighting against the effort to remove her from office, Mayor Cantrell is now calling for unity moving forward. And Alyssa Curtis is joining us live from City Hall tonight with reaction from the mayor and the recall organizers. Alyssa?
That's right, Katie. The mayor has fought this recall effort from the very beginning, most recently with legal action. But today, in response that those petitions did not have enough signature, the mayor said the best is yet to come. Over the past 6 months, Mayor Cantrell has said the recall is an attack on her and an attack on voting rights. But now that the recall doesn't have enough signatures, the mayor is celebrating. In a statement, the mayor says she and her administration have always remained focused on addressing the real pressing issues that face New Orleans. She says now with the divisiveness of the failed recall campaign officially behind us, we must heal and recommit ourselves to working collaboratively to continue the progress we've made. The mayor says she respects the democratic process and thanks the residents for trusting in her. Her campaign echoed similar sentiments. In a statement, Cantrell's campaign manager, Maggie Carroll, said in part, they're grateful the truth has come out that the effort to recall the mayor never had enough signatures. Her campaign says they continue to focus on voting rights and calls the recall campaign divisive, dishonest, and opaque. The recall petition was filed back in August of last year. After 6 months of gathering signatures, the No Latoya group submitted them to the Registrar of Voters. This process has been shrouded in secrecy. Throughout the past month, WWL-TV has requested the Registrar of Voters explain the process of certifying the signatures. They've refused. We've also asked to inspect the records as allowed by the law. They've refused. The No Latoya group said they'd tell us how many signatures they submitted, but we learned that information from the governor instead. WWL-TV will continue to ask those involved to clarify the process.
Wow.
Now we just got a statement from the No Latoya recall group just a few minutes ago. I have it right here. And they first start out by thanking all of the residents who signed the petition and supported them in this effort. But they say that they have been met with countless obstacles. They say this recall petition was doomed from the very beginning, from the moment that they filed that petition back in August, because of massive inaccuracies with the Registrar of Voters. They said the effort of the recall has only just begun, and they will be seeking legal options. Reporting live outside City Hall, Alyssa Curtis, Eyewitness News.
Well, I guess, I hope the sister did not celebrate too soon, because it doesn't look like things, she was able to be happy at that moment that they could not get her out of office. But stuff like this just might help. Let's see what we got here.
And says taxpayers have to pay for Mayor Cantrell's flight upgrades for a recent overseas trip.
As David Jones reports, receipts show the trip to South Korea for her and two staffers cost at least $33,000.
The taxpayers want to know, whether or not their money is being spent in a lawful and ethical manner.
On May 23rd, Mayor LaToya Cantrell, a member of her executive protection team and her communications director, took a trip to the World Climate Industry Expo in South Korea, where she was the only U.S. mayor to attend.
The city of New Orleans, and especially when you talk about South Korea and having sister city agreements in South Korea. Our partners travel. And so it's like a force multiplier.
Fox 8 obtained records which show more than $33,000 was spent between Cantrell and her two staffers, Gregory Joseph and NOPD officer Robert Monlin. Cantrell has come under fire in the past for flight upgrades on overseas travel. Last October, she repaid the city nearly $29,000 in travel upgrades, which the city attorney determined violated the city's travel policy.
She should know to be sensitive about the subject and to make sure that when she travels, all expenses are made available to the public.
All three flew first class from New Orleans to San Francisco and business class from San Francisco to Japan. Then the trio flew economy class to Busan, South Korea, where the expo was held. Coming back, they again flew economy to Japan, business to Denver, and first class back to New Orleans. Cantrell's airfare total cost more than $10,500. Records show she did receive a $5,000 stipend for transportation from the event's co-sponsor, the parent company of the New York Times. City policy calls for employees to seek the lowest fares available and to pay the difference if they seek to upgrade. It also states the airfare must be booked at least 14 calendar days prior to departure, unless documentation is provided showing why that was not possible. Cantrell and her two staffers' flights were booked 11 days before departure, and the city has not provided an explanation why the advance purchase requirement could not be met. Cantrell did not directly answer when asked if upgrades on this trip will be paid back.
What I do and the practices that I have upholded, particularly pre-COVID, because I would upgrade my own. And then flying under the conditions of COVID and wanting to make sure that I protect me, meaning peace of mind, safety and the like, I am more protected mentally as well as physically flying first class. And this is
oh, sister, come on. Let's just be real. Let's just be real, sister. No. Oh, if you don't stop. My better peace of mind. I'm sure everybody in first class has a little better peace of mind. What are you talking about? Because if you don't cut it out, it just make me feel a little better. I think I'd feel a little better being in first class too. Stop. I didn't want to be back there with the commoners. Baby. Yeah. Come on now. Let's just keep it real, lady.
It's something that is not a luxury. It is something that
first class is a luxury, ma'am.
And it's something that I paid for and I continue to pay for.
The mayor's communications director, Greg.
Yeah, I think it's about the ethical part, though, that I guess can't nobody tell you nothing. Boy, that's a horrible attitude to have in a politician. And here's another thing about these politicians. Notice how they keep getting caught up in these money things and they doing all this other stuff. What the hell are they doing for the black community? Have y'all noticed they got all this other stuff going on? You ain't heard them say nothing about black folks.
Gregory Joseph says the city will not be reimbursed for the flight upgrades.
The issue here is that the mayor is aware that she's been investigated for her travel expenses in the past, and the mayor is aware that both members of the city council and members of the general public have expressed concern about expenditures for her travel.
City policy states the city will cover airfare for business class flights if the costs do not far exceed coach rates for international flights over 10 hours. The city has not provided us the coach rate for the flights, but in a statement, Joseph said the trip was over 10 hours and the rate fell in line with policy, so no reimbursement is required.
Even if they create the appearance of impropriety, it's going to draw attention from the city council. It's going to draw attention from the general public, and it's going to distract from them actually doing the business of government and taking care of the people's business in running this city in an efficient manner.
We followed up with city spokesperson Gregory Joseph to clarify whether he is lumping the first-class domestic flights together with the business-class flights to Japan. We are still waiting to hear back on that point, but Joseph did say the city is still awaiting the stipend money from the New York Times.
Wow. Imagine that. Imagine that. I'm still in that. There we go. Go back to the full. There we are. Wow. So again, like I said, democratic disarray. With politicians like this, what would ever make you trust anything they're putting out? In the Mix Radio said, can't do what white folks do. Seemed like some of these folks was learning that lesson the hard way. That's one of the things that, you have a certain age, you might have been told that as a child. Just giving you good, solid, firm understanding how the world works. Not how you would want it, but, the truth of the world, that is what it is. You know what? Let me do it like this. Okay. Get to here. Bear with me 1 second. So I'm going to get to my next story. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. We done talked about LA. We done hit New Orleans. Yeah, in the Mix Radio, did she look out for FBA? I don't know. I know she's been in the news for doing a whole lot of traveling, so I know she gets her movement on. Outside of that, I don't know. Good question. Great question. Where's the video I want? Here. So, okay, bear with me. Let me share this window. Okay. So, like I said, going to New York. And for some of y'all, wait a minute. I know I started playing. Let me get this. Oh, okay. All right, let me get this on the screen. So, as I said, going to New York here, where we have, remember Keishant Sewell. She's the commissioner, police commissioner of New York. who has only been there for 18 months. And what's so interesting is that I also remember the runner-up for Commissioner of New York that Mayor Adams was going to pick, because, you know, they had to go with the whole Democratic charade of supporting Black women. And so they were going to put a Black woman in there. And I told you that they were going to get a pretty stud. So it's Keishant Sewell, Outlaw, was Danielle Outlaw, which she used to be our former police chief. I think she might still be in Philadelphia as the commissioner, but you know, they do things like that. So we already knew what was coming. Now, looking at New York, it would make sense that some people say, hey, maybe I should get out while I can. Because the writing is on the wall. You are the fall people, the fall guys and gals. That's why Biden made sure that he got Black folks in all of them positions. And you have seen all of them crap the bed. You have a mayor who is just absolutely the worst. And then you have a DA who is slow-footed at best when it comes down to getting Black folks justice. Then you had the what was that other woman? What is she, the DA or whatever? The one that had the hotline for Asian crime or Asian hate crimes. Remember that woman? So yeah, it's a lot of that. They always put people in these places. But looks like Keishant said 18 months of being the puppet cop is enough. So now she's resigning. She's stepping down. Now, she ain't saying she's retiring. So, you know, guess she's going to be going somewhere else, probably try to go low key. Or maybe it's time to get her a bigger pivotal role in the Democratic Party. But let's listen to what she has to say.
Stepping down after 18 months on the job, the stunning move from Police Commissioner Keishant Sewell. Good evening once again. I'm Maurice Dubois.
And welcome back. I'm Jessica Moore. Just moments ago, Mayor Adams released a statement on the commissioner's resignation.
CBS 2's Dick Brennan in our newsroom now with all the newest information. Dick, shocker to everybody.
Absolutely, Maurice and Jessica. Sewell became the first woman to be New York City's police commissioner in December 2021, just 18 months ago. It's not clear exactly when the commissioner will be resigning, but she said in an internal email, I have made the decision to step down from my position, adding that while my time here will come to a close, I will never step away from my advocacy and support for the NYPD, and I will always be a champion for the people of New York City. Before leading the NYPD, Sewell spent her entire career in Nassau County. She started as a patrol officer in 1997 before working her way up to chief of.
Okay.
Detectives. Mayor Adams released a statement thanking Sewell for her service, saying in part, quote, her efforts played a leading role in this administration's tireless work to make New York City safer. When we came into office, crime was trending upwards, and thanks to the brave men and women of the NYPD, most of the major crime categories are now down. And PBA President Pat Lynch also reacted in a statement saying in part, she took over a police department in crisis and faced tremendous challenges from day one. She cared about the cops on the street and was always open to working with us to improve their lives and working conditions. So it was the third Black person to lead the NYPD. Again, her final day is not yet known or the reason why she is stepping down, but we will keep you up to date as more information comes in. Jessica and Maurice.
Okay, Dick Brennan in the newsroom.
Well, that is interesting. Now, I guess there could always be some speculation. You know, got Sister Shantae Holt in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me get over here. Okay. But there's other, you know, I guess you could say questions about, their relationship. Let me see here. Let me find it. Okay, so here's Eric Adams chiming in. Okay, so let me get this ready. This dude is so he's like a man. Eric Adams is almost like a mannequin or something. He remind me of he like a human version of Teddy Ruxpin. Like he put the Democratic tape in his back and then he just goes ahead and gives the spiel. But nonetheless, this is him giving his farewell to the commissioner that he picked. Supposedly.
Police Commissioner Keyshawn Sewell is leaving after 18 months as the police commissioner. And I cannot thank her enough. The commissioner was there 24 hours, 7-day a week of running the largest police department in the country. And I was proud that day when I appointed her. She came in with a hammer and she broke the glass ceiling of being the first, not only woman, but one who just led this department from the front. But I wanted to just really take the moment as we start this conversation.
What does that even mean?
To thank her for her service to the city and for being there during the most difficult times in the city.
Wow.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out these.
Okay. I said, dude's like Teddy Ruxpin, man. Just anything, put anything in and he'll say it. Yeah, she's been a good job and, she's right there 7 days a week. I just don't really know what much else to say about her. I just not sure what I need to say because people might have some questions about certain stuff, Lord. So so people,
Relationship with the mayor's office.
Let's hear how some people are reporting on this. Let me get this back on the screen. There we go.
As we mentioned, the reasons why Sewell is stepping down are unclear, but we're uncovering more about her relationship with the mayor's office tonight. CBS 2 investigative reporter Tim McNicholas here now. And Tim, what are we learning?
Maurice, her email to officers did not say why she is resigning, but we are gaining some insight into that relationship between Sewell and Mayor Adams, a former police captain who's taken a hands-on management approach with the NYPD.
I do hereby pledge and declare. I do hereby pledge and declare.
Since day one, police sources tell CBS 2 the mayor's office has closely managed the decisions Sewell has made, including promotions and other personnel matters. Monday morning, before Sewell resigned, the mayor was asked about his influence on promotions and hirings. He said he is not making hiring decisions for Sewell, but every city agency comes to him to review proposed leadership.
Once a week, I have hire reviews because I have the role as the mayor to make sure I get the talent, the diversity. Everyone does that, not the NYPD alone. Let's be clear on that.
Back in January, we asked Sewell about the mayor's involvement in the NYPD.
The perception that this is the mayor's NYPD. What do you say to people who say that?
The whole city is the mayor's city. The mayor's experience in the NYPD is invaluable, and I talk to him often about his perspective and what his experiences were here in the NYPD.
How not a hindrance?
It's not a hindrance. You have to be able to take experience and advice from all corners, and I do that.
And Sewell did make a major decision just last month. She approved discipline against an Adams ally, the highest-ranking uniformed officer, Chief of Department Jeff Madry. That was after Madry voided the November 2021 arrest of a retired NYPD officer. Neither the mayor's office, the NYPD or Sewell have said why she resigned. Maurice.
Okay, Tim, thanks so much. And you saw a bit of my one-on-one interview with the commissioner back in January. For more insight into her thinking, you can watch the entire exchange as well as the latest updates on the story tonight on CBSNewYork.com. As we mentioned,
Wow. Now that is interesting, isn't it? So, okay. Well, those things are kind of making a little more sense there. So maybe there's some behind the scenes issues that we have not been informed of there between these two colleagues. Okay, let me get that. Here's more.
Mayor Adams is reacting to the resignation of Police Commissioner Keyshawn Sewell, praising her one day after she announced she's stepping down from the NYPD.
CBS 2's political reporter Marsha Kramer tells us the mayor refused to reveal the reason she gave him for leaving.
NYPD brass show Keyshawn Sewell the love with a standing ovation at a police commissioner for a day ceremony that saw the normally poised and staid commissioner appear to tear up as aides hugged her in her first public appearance after announcing her resignation. But as rumors swirled about why she was turning in her badge, Mayor Adams went on the offensive.
Everybody's talking about how much you loved her. Did you show her love when she was here? I showed her love. I adored what the commissioner was doing. And the rest of you should ask, what role did you play?
Adams refused to say why the commissioner decided to pack it in after just 18 months on the job. Questions about whether it was because she was micromanaged by either him or Deputy Mayor Phil Banks set him off, especially since Adams says it's his job to make sure every commissioner in every agency is performing at the top of their game.
The people of the city elected me to be the mayor. We need to be clear on that. I would encourage you all to speak with all of my commissioners. They will all tell you this guy is up all night making sure New Yorkers are getting the product that they expect.
Are you confessing to be a micromanager?
No, I am, listen, I keep remembering what Mom told me. Inspect what you expect or is all suspect. That's what she told me. Trust, but verify. Now, some people may call that a micromanager. I call it being the mayor of a city that you love, and taxpayers elected me to give them the product they deserve.
The mayor refused to say if he had a replacement in mind, whether the new commissioner would be from inside or outside the department, and whether it would be Phil Banks. I'm Marsha Kramer, CBS 2 News.
And in a statement she posted on Twitter, Sewell thanked the mayor for the opportunity and called the time she spent working with communities one of the most rewarding experiences of her tenure. She has agreed to stay on the job until the end of the month.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. No. Okay, what's going on there? There we go. Wow. Wow. So that's what's going on in New York. Very interesting time. Very interesting times. And so, again, more Democratic disarray right there. Before your eyes, and this is out of the Big Apple, so you don't really know why she's leaving. So yeah, okay. I mean, all we could do is really kind of speculate. It's not all we can do. But now, like I said, let's see. This is. Okay, so again, we're talking about Democratic disarray. And these situations I know I've shown a bunch of black politicians. So you're probably wondering, well, what about the others? Well, in my city right now, there's an issue going on with this she's a former, I think she was in the Treasury or Secretary of the State. And yeah, she's gotten caught up with a kind of having a moonlighting job. And just like what you were hearing from Cantrell out of New Orleans and hearing about her, using funds and taxpayer money for trips and whatnot. Well, we have a similar situation going on right here, which was uncovered by one of our local reporters actually looking for something else, and then stumbled across this story, and the rest is history. And this woman has had to resign, and the paperwork that's coming out after this has just been it's just not looking good at all.
Alert. And Point 6 staying on top of the ethical and legal questions surrounding former Secretary of State Shemia Fagan.
Oregon government agencies are facing federal subpoenas for documents linked to her and the owners of the cannabis chain LaModa. Now, expense records just released by the Secretary of State's office, raising even more questions. Elise Haas looking into those. Elise?
There's a lot to dig into here, including hotel and car rental expenses related to various trips in 2022, including to the southern Oregon coast. So in September of 2022, a revenue accountant emailed Fagan's executive assistant about how to separate personal use from state business in a rental car charge. For example, her email says state employees cannot benefit from state contracts. So in this case, this vehicle was rented for state business and then kept for personal use, which is an ethical violation in a couple of different ways. Fagan later resigned on May 2nd of this year over ethical concerns connected to her work as a consultant for the cannabis chain LaModa. In a letter to Governor Kotek, Fagan stated she did nothing wrong ethically or legally, saying, "While I am confident that the ethics investigation will show that I followed the state's legal and ethical guidelines in trying to make ends meet for my family, it is clear that my actions have become a distraction from the important and critical work of the Secretary of State's office." So that ethics investigation is ongoing, with a report due before the commission by July 14th. Again, we're only beginning to look through Fagan's spending while in office, but we reached out to the acting Secretary of State's office. They said in part, Secretary Fagan's frequent travel with family members was not appropriate for an elected official. Staff at the agency frequently pushed back on the plans for these trips, but their advice was ignored.
Interesting that the staff pushed back on it. So if she had any concerns then, she obviously didn't listen to the staff at that point.
Correct.
Right. It's like she has these ideas about rules that she can bend. And when you go through these emails, there's pet fees, she's bringing her children along on trips, getting a car for a business trip, and then keeping it for a couple extra days for her personal use. These are the kinds of questions, that we need answers to for why that was allowed to happen and why she's putting that on the state's dime.
Okay, you've been on this since the very beginning. I know you continue to follow it. Elise Haas, thank you.
On new
And there it is. And there it is. So again, like I've said, this is the Democratic disarray. And I hope you guys are seeing it for what it is. It is absolutely a disaster with what they have now going on with the Democrats. There is not much they could really do to save face on this because it's a disaster. It's a huge disaster. So from your old garb of black politicians, the truth is starting, that other shoe is dropping on them. And then you even have the young liberal politician. The shoe is still dropping on them. And rightfully so. because they have been doing all this dirt under taxpayer dollars all of this time. Now, just think of some of these other ones like your Jim Clyburns and all of these do-nothings at the Congressional Black Caucus, these black mayors. I don't know if there's a black governor somewhere, but you get the point. Yeah, have we had a black governor yet? I'm trying to think. Has there been a state with a black governor? Somebody know? Because now that I think about it, it's like, well, what state has had a black governor? Actually, what about Arkansas? Did Arkansas actually have a black governor at one point? It would be one of them odd places like Arkansas. It would be because I can't think of anywhere else that actually has had a black governor. Not on the West Coast. Yeah, not on this West Coast. Massachusetts. I would seriously doubt it. Rhonda Smith. I mean, Deval Patrick. Deval Patrick. And that was Massachusetts? Let me do this. Deval Patrick. Oh, okay. So he's actually the governor? Oh, yeah. Okay. And Massachusetts was the first. I mean, I don't know if they were first, but I think Virginia also had a black governor back in the day. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm from the West Coast. We don't see things like that out here. Okay, Governor Deval Patrick. Yeah, sure enough. Now let's go check out what. Oh boy. Now, who is this? He's married to now. Is this a? Is she just a very light-skinned sister? I don't know, y'all. Yeah. I don't know. What is this dude's? What is this dude's wife? He's the former governor. We got a black mayor in Greenville, Mississippi. That's dope. And I didn't spell that wrong. he's over there in that Skittles thing. Okay, got it. Got it. Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I didn't know about that cat. I think New York had a black governor. I think he was blind. Really? He's actually a governor? Who was that? Yeah, I have to figure out. Okay. Governor Tate Reeves, may he burn in hell when his time is up. Oh, okay. David Patterson, New York. Okay, that name does sound familiar. Thank you for my resident New Yorker there. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Yo Queenin. Yo 103 Queenin. New York. Okay. Cool. That's hilarious. Man. So I think that is, let me see if I got something else for y'all. I don't think yes. I do want to show y'all this. yeah, so, it ain't all bad. And there was one bright spot. And again, we're going back to New York. I definitely saw this. It's like, okay, well, shout out to this sister here. Let me get this in here. It's loading right now. Okay. All right. Still loading. Okay, there we go. So check out this sister out of New York. And I would hope to start hearing more politicians talking like this.
My colleagues throughout this discussion has already started talking about circumventing the system by including themselves in the idea of reparations for their blue-eyed children, no shade, and their ancestors who were indentured servants. That is the point I was making. We also had someone mention about their African descent who believes that they wouldn't be included in the conversations because we know who's Black. But if it's not reflected in the language, that's when it can become complicated and confusing. But I feel strongly about ensuring that those people who were actually enslaved in America were repaired. That was my point. That the Elon Musk of the world don't circumvent the system as we've seen happen on other instances. But I am happy that the sponsor of this bill has finally recognized today on record, and everyone has spoken about chattel slavery, that lineage-based has to be also a focus in this particular study. And because it's on record, because it allows us to see the intention of the sponsor, I am going to change my no vote to a yes.
All right. Lineage-based. So, for all the Biden sexuals and Trump haters, third-party haters, independent candidate haters who say, well, we only got one option. And we got to go with the lesser of two evils. And we've always been voting Democrat. You have been voting Democrat. Time to take a report card. Check that report card and see how it's working. Because, see, they always start doing what, then people start lying to you and tell you what all the good things that the Biden administration have done. And, man, you see, Biden, man, he done did this for Black folks. Biden ain't did a damn thing for no Black folks. That's absolute crap. But they'll get up there and tell you that all day long. Yeah, man, Joe Biden, man, he done a lot for Black folks. No, he has not. And, matter of fact, the man can't even stand up. What's so funny is, why did the crowd's cheers get louder when he fell? Did y'all notice that? Check that out. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Why did their cheers get louder? Woo! Oh, that is too funny. That dude just took it straight up. Now, vote for this old man who can't even stay upright, who will turn around and shake the air. Yeah, you know, you can't do much worse than a guy who doesn't know why he's pushing the button that he's pushing. They say you can't have the red phone next to this guy. Hell, he might try to order a pizza with it. Lord. And again, if you guys, tend to forget who this fella is, let me just take you back down memory lane. Because people, we still got to vote for him no matter
And
what.
I happen to think that the one way to ensure that you set the civil rights movement in America further back is to continue to push busing, because it's a bankrupt policy. And that's why I think I'll be vindicated.
So he's against busing, but he ran on open borders just so all the fentanyl can come on into America. And all of the illegal drug dealers were so happy because they get over here and start calling back home like, and never forget what Joe Biden really think of black folks.
All right, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Niggers!
So there might be people coming around, just like that sister said, trying to insert themselves in the conversation of reparations, knowing that they are not in the conversation of getting reparations. So some people will be upset when we ask these questions.
Where's your family from?
Because we have to. And if they think that we can't understand, like I saw Brother Tariq Nasheed's video from earlier, his broadcast earlier today, and he was playing something from Brother Dredsky's page about this Caribbean woman just going off on, and it was a few tethers that were doing this. Black Americans hate on them, and ain't nobody hating on you. While this chick has on a horrible lace front and ashy knees, it's like, are you a sex worker? It's very interesting that you got black marks on your knees. Anyway, they're going on to talk about how we don't have a culture and the white man giving us all of this, that, and the other. And then, while being over here in America, coming up off of, the things that the white man did. And, that type of talk coming from a defeated tether, a colonized mind, that is not a flex. It is not a flex at all. Oh, that man, they have no culture. I mean, look at the food, but white people eat chicken. When you create something, people tend to gravitate towards what you create. So, you like the stoplights in America and whatnot, the running water, the flushing toilets, all of these different things that you and amenities that you enjoy around the world, you enjoy it in your homeland that you fled from. So those type of things, when you start hearing people out there talking, they talk in a vacuum because they never get out of that comfort zone. And then they think they could come amongst us and talk to us how they talk amongst themselves about us in such a disrespectful way. Then they find out we're not going to be disrespected like that. Your little, dirtbag projections, like the one female said, you talk about Haitians and you call Haitians dirty. Well, you're dirty too, ma'am. The correct response is, I'm not dirty. I hope y'all caught that. If for those of y'all who are watching that, the first thing you say is, I mean, how do you say Haitians are dirty? Well, you guys are dirty too. The message was, don't be dirty. Not justify your lack of cleanliness by saying, well, you're dirty too. Yeah. No. That girl really sat up there and said it. Y'all walk around barefoot? No, we do not. No, ma'am. If you want to be funky walking around barefoot, like we understand how we can always identify a tether, is because the awkwardly ashy ankles and heels, for some reason you have the desire to show them in open-toed flip-flops with sweatsuits or jeans and a loud ass shirt that might be too short. But again, these are things that we see. And then if somebody's clowning you on it, that's just called playing the dozens. You know, that part of culture that comes from foundational Black Americans that obviously you don't come from. Because when somebody say, hey, go wash your ass, then you be like, oh, but you're dirty too. No, ma'am. No, what we're saying.
Own your stuff, little girl. Own it.
And please wash your ass. But at the end of the day, we understand what the conversation is about. You enter into the conversation to talk about us because at the end of the day, what do you have left? So, lesson is for those individuals, because see, they like to take the long way around. Well, let's just cut to the chase. Hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
Oh, Lord. Lord. Never gets old. So you're going to have people starting to come around us talking about, man, because it's something that she said also that video that Dretzky had on his page. She also said something, one of them said, we want them to be like, all be like big, one flat blackness. It's like, we don't talk flat blackness. And well, I guess you guys get offended at our culture. What culture? I just have to keep it a buck. There is nothing on the Haitian menu that entices me. I've seen some of the Haitian cuisine, like there's nothing I want. There is nothing on that menu to say, let me go get it. I mean, the truth be told, I've had some of that jollof rice, like the little like African jollof rice. That was on point. But I'm telling you, like, and that's just, it's rice. It's really, they season the hell out of it. But you look at the dishes on the menus, because the place they just gave the James Beard Award to here, this Haitian dude that nobody know here, he has a restaurant that obviously they support. So, because we don't have no Haitian community here. So if you coming over around here, chances are, if you're Haitian in Portland, Oregon, you're cooking soul food. But this dude has a traditional, well, not traditional, I think he got some kind of Haitian Caribbean or Haitian Creole type deal going on. And like I said, they gave that dude an award, talking him up. I went and looked at that dude's stuff. I'm like, nah, there is nothing on that menu that I want at all. Ain't a doggone thing there I want. I can tell you that for a fact. Ain't nothing there I want. I mean, there was nothing appealing on, and they got pictures of it. So they got pictures of the food. It's like, this is not doing it for me. I'm sorry. But nonetheless, you know, we have these people out here that always think they're going to try to come up here and undermine us. And we just not. So from the first dude that you saw at the beginning, talking, for those of you who came in late, you might have missed that. And so you might have missed that Daniel Penny was charged. They haven't said what he is charged with, but they did say he was charged. And let me, again, just for those of you who missed this particular bootlicking Sambo that they brought out. Man, I mean, you know, to cape for Subway killer Daniel Penny. I just want y'all, so for those of you who missed it, we're going to touch it real quick and just take a gander of how they do. This is the mainstream media's way of trying to get in front of a harsh prosecution.
On my columns, I tell everybody, tactical patience, at least 48 to 72 hours before you have all the facts. After we even got word, AOC and Ayanna Pressley were on the media blitz calling this a modern day lynching, and the media was all too happy to just disseminate those lines, those narratives. And it's just, you know, what do you want? You want more instances of what they can mark as white vigilantism, which we really know at this point can marginally be called self-defense, if not, you know, proactive, you know, maybe like proactive defense, because everybody on that train was probably in fear for their life, you know, that subway. And you can tell by the 911 calls, you know, it was 6 minutes from the first call to the responded EMT. Two of the calls highlighted that they believed he had a weapon, yet the media will never tell you that. Because again, they want people to do
because he didn't have a weapon
on subways, getting on subway trains, getting in the faces of police officers. They love that.
As a trained fighter, when you saw the chokehold, how did you see that?
When I saw it, you know, number one, Neely looked like he was struggling the whole way. And so, you know, part of that is that it's called sinking a hold or submission in. I don't know that it was ever like fully sunk in. And something that you said about the toxicology report, I think that's really important, but we're not getting that. You know, is it really though? Reminds me of the manifesto of the Nashville shootings. You know, we're just not getting that information. And so it's like one of those that's an important component to understand what happened. But then we also have, you know, important independent journalism and reporting, thanks to Twitter, that pretty much showed that even after this incident, they, you know, Penny, he had him in a recovery position on the side, and the people on the train car were trying to reassure Penny, and he looked devastated.
That's not what murderers do. They don't try to help the guy up and clear his airways after that. All right, Malcolm, thanks very much. Everybody go check out his Substack.
And Malcolm Flex.
Where's your family from?
And once again, Malcolm Flex, you get one of these.
Sambo, Sambo, Sambo.
And truth be told, I don't even know why they got you there. That don't make no sense. Because at the end of the day,
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
So always remember, ladies and gentlemen, don't get into the car with people who have no sense of anything right. Because what you are seeing is this Nigerian Sambo, which I would believe he looks Nigerian to me. You know, and they'd be upset. What does it mean? What do you mean where I'm from? Shit.
Where's your family from?
I mean, these are questions we have to ask because we are no longer putting on the cape for people who sit up here and come around us like it's cool. And we most definitely will not
shuffling and scratching and bootlicking and buck dance.
And for those of you who called us,
you shouldn't have been talking shit.
And real talk to them Haitians talking about dirty and all of that madness. Nah. See, remember, when y'all start playing that game and then you start getting roasted, then everybody starts saying, man, you do not have the ability to control a person's response to your disrespect. So always remember.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
And hold that L, because Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. Can you dig it? Yeah, yes, indeed. Said that cake got mothballs, and I know that's right. And we don't owe anybody anything. So here's the truth of the matter. We are about our business, and we need to be about our political business, our social business, and our collective family business. All that entails. And for everything else that, has been a hindrance or comes along to try to be a deterrent, we need to be quick at identifying that type of thing and sidestep it and move forward. So this is going to be a year to where we will have a lot of, I guess you could say, a lot of attacks on different people and different voices that push this positive for us language and speaking and movement. What they're going to do is they're going to start putting things out using some of our familiar language, but diverting the conversation elsewhere. What they're trying to do, as I see it with Juneteenth, what they're trying to do is trying to remix Juneteenth into a multicultural melting pot day. So then it will be freedom of this and freedom of that and freedom of this and that and the other, and it's all free. That's where I can perceive it going. But in the midst, this big, humongous monkey wrench called lineage has caused a major rift in people's grift. And they are upset about it. So we have to pay attention to all distractions that will be coming our way, all points of attack. Always stay vigilant about that. Now, for those who think that they will get on board with derailing this movement, you'll say, well, hey, I can get in there and I'll get next to this person and I'll get in here and we'll do some infiltrating, like other groups have done in the past. They'll try to get their COINTELPRO on. Well, at the end of the day, I have a saying, and I firmly believe this: when you are doing things in the righteous pattern and you are doing what is destined to be, as I see it, things have a way of taking care of themselves. That being said, people think that, well, I'm special, and somehow I will be able to do what others have not. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to deter these black people and they're going to get right back on the Democratic plantation. Well, for all of you who attempted that, for all of you down with the vote blue no matter who, and for all of you who say vote down ballot, well, I have something to share with you from myself, all of us here at the beatzillapdx official show, the chat, the grassroots, the voices of New Black Media, and all of you out there watching right now, and who is in agreement with me when we tell these folks if they believe they are going to circumvent our movement with the normal old school hogwash, COINTELPRO tactics, you got another thing coming, and this song is for you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed. You can follow me at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. You can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket, you want to support this broadcast, you definitely can by way of Cash App. That's Cash App, $beatzillapdx. Cash App, $beatzillapdx. And we also have PayPal, which is Zilla Muzak. That is ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. And so with that being said, Friday, we have a broadcast coming up that y'all don't want to miss. We are having Dr. Randy Short again. This particular time on this broadcast, how I'm doing this one is Ask Dr. Short. So if y'all want to know what we're doing, this is the Ask Dr. Short show. So I'm going to bring y'all up, and we're going to do the 2-minute question drill, because you know he's going to need his time to give you an answer. So for those of y'all who are unfamiliar, this is what the 2-minute clock looks like, family. So you know we'll get your take and let him go ahead and give you what you need. Also, real quick before I go, family, I saw somebody post this. It's something else to be aware of and just be on the lookout for in the future. This some gender warring madness here. So yeah, just be mindful that you might see some more of that type of stuff. Black male privilege. You know where that's coming from. Ain't nobody black came up with that line at all. So let me tell you that. Black male privilege. What? Yeah, okay. Man, black male privilege. Yeah, so that the gender war beef, that and obviously they've done ran out of black ideas. So they're just doing it themselves. I guess they say, well, screw it. We'll just wing it. We really don't think they can tell the difference. We can. So with that being said, family, again, make sure you tune in Friday to ask questions with Dr. Short. So, you guys get a chance to ask him what's on your mind. I'll bring y'all up and you'll ask your question, and then I'll go ahead and let him answer that way. So, get your call in and make sure, and I'll remind you, of course, on that broadcast, but make sure you tell everybody who you are and where you're calling from. So, because we would like to definitely know everybody that is communicating with us. So, with that being said, family, stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. And like we say here, black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all.
When you know who Satan is, yes, sir, you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. Yes. See, that's what you throw. Yes, right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.